So we'll continue our discussion from the 8th chapter. In 7th chapter, Brahmaji was he instructed Narad Muni about the various Leela avatars. Before that, he instructed about the Purusha avatars. And the end of the 7th chapter, Brahmaji told Narad Muni, now you start preaching. So in response to this, the natural question is, Parikshit Maharaj is asking, the Goswami, kahan preaching kiya, kya kiya, bataiye. So that's how he begins this 8th chapter. So this 8th chapter is entitled as Questions by King Parikshit, and there are around 22 questions which Parikshit Maharaj asks, and the answer to these questions, they form the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. So as you can see in Subodhini, very nicely the table is given, which all questions are answered in which canto. So beautifully it is described there. So etad vedetum ichchami. No, what do I got first verse? ब्रह्मणा चोदितो ब्रह्मण गुणाख्याने अगुणस्य च यस्मै यस्मै यथा प्राह नारदो देवदर्शनः. So Parikshit Maharaj asked Shukdev Goswami, how did Narad Muni, whose hearers are as fortunate as those instructed by Lord Brahma, explain the transcendental qualities of the Lord? Gunakhyane agunasya. Aguna means, nirguna means not material. The Supreme Lord has no material qualities. He has transcendental qualities. So how did Narad Muni, yasmai yasmai yatha praha, to whom he spoke, how did he explain this? So please tell me, because Narada is as good as darshan of the devotee of the Lord, is as beneficial as darshan of the Supreme Lord, and in this case he is saying Narado Dev Darshana, whose audience is as good as that of any Devta, any demigod. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that Devarshi Narad was instructed by Brahmaji and was instructed by Supreme Lord. So therefore this is the parampara. So Prabhupada writes, he continues, there is no chance, however, to receive Vedic knowledge from mental speculators. Therefore, wherever Narad Muni goes, he presents himself as authorized by the Lord, and his appearance is as good as that of Supreme Lord. So, taking darshan of the devotees of the Lord is as good as taking darshan of the Lord, because they are as purifying. Darshane pavitra karo ei tumhara gun. Just like Lord Shiva, when he is once moving around with Parvati, they see Markandeya Muni doing tapasya. So Parvati tells Lord Shiva that please we should go and give some blessings to this great sage. He is such a wonderful devotee of the Lord. So Lord Shiva says actually he doesn't need any blessings. He is already a pure devotee. He is not doing tapasya to get anything. But still we should go and talk to him, because talking to great devotees like him is beneficial for people like us. That is what Lord Shiva is telling. Athapi samvadishyamo bhavani etena sadhuna ayam hi paramo labho ninam sadhu samagama. Athapi, we should go and talk to him. Samvadishyamo bhavani, because paramo labho, it is great beneficial thing to talk to this person, to great devotees. So because they are as good as Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada continues that disciplic succession means one should strictly follow the instructions given by the Supreme Lord. And what is the test of a bona fide spiritual master? There should be no difference between the instructions of the Lord originally imparted to his devotee and that which is imparted by the authority in the line of disciplic succession. So that is the glory of hearing from devotees. So there is no difference. Just like 12th canto, beautiful verse says, Kasmai yena vibhashitoyam atulo jnana pradipa pura tadarupena cha naradaya munaya krishnaya tadarupena yogendraya tadatmanata bhagavadratāya karunyata tashuddham vimalam vishokam amritam satyam param dhimahi. Kasmai, kaha means Brahma. Kasmai yena vibhashitoyam. Whatever Brahma spoke, whenever Brahma is speaking to Narad Muni, who is speaking, it is Supreme Lord who is speaking. Jnana tadarupena cha Naradaya. And Narad Muni in the form of Supreme Lord in the form of Narad Muni spoke to Vyasdev. Krishnaya tadarupena, Krishnaya means Vyasdev. Krishna Dvaipayan Vyas. So Dvaipayan Vyas is a post. So Vyas is a post. And the post is taken by many different people in different kalpas or different manvantaras. So now in this manvantara, who is the post? Who is taking the post? Krishna Dvaipayan. So why he has got this name? Because he was born on a Dvi. So therefore Dvaipayan. So that's what this is described. Tadarupena cha Naradaya Munaya Krishnaya Tadarupena. And Vyasdev, Krishna in the form of Vyasdev spoke to whom? To Shukdev Goswami. Yogendraya. Yogendraya means Shukdev Goswami. And Bhagavad Rataya. Who is Bhagavad Rataya? Parikshit. Vishnu Rata. Tasman Namna Vishnu Rata iti loke bhavishyati nasandeho mahabaho mahabhagavato mahan. This verse comes in the 12th chapter. When the sages, they give name to Parikshit Maharaj, they call him Vishnu Rata. So that is a test of bona fide spiritual master. There is no difference between the instruction of the Lord and that which is imparted by the devotee of the Lord. So then Parikshit Maharaj continues. Etad veditum ichhami tattvam tattva vidambara hareradbhuta viryasya
तथा लोकस्वंगलाः.
I wish to know narrations concerning which is more difficult. Secondly,
Etad veditum ichhami, I wish to know. Veditum, I want to know. Ichha hai kya? Oh tattva vidambara, I want to know from you. You are तत्वम तत्व विदाम वर. तत्व जानने वालों में सबसे उत्तम हैं आप. You are best of the well versed. Tattva vidam, you know the tattva, and you are the best among those who know tattva. And therefore you please tell us Harer Adbhuta Viryasya. You tell us the narrations about the Lord who possesses Adbhuta Virya, transcendental, wonderful potencies. And what is the quality of such pastimes? What is the quality of this katha? Loka Sumangalaha. Only these topics are auspicious. Any other topic creates inauspiciousness. So Loka Sumangala Bhagavatam is for everyone. It is not for some sectarian people, not just for some Vaishnavas who are very high class or Brahmanas. It is for everyone. Which verse tells this? That Bhagavatam is for everyone. Everyone gets benefit. Many verses are there. Anyone can tell me. Bhagavatam benefits everyone. Nishreyasaya lokasya dhanyam swastyayanam mahat. Okay. It is for the welfare of everyone. Lokasya. Even low class people can get benefited. Any verse? Just we heard. 2 days back discussed. Kirata, Munandra, Pulinda, Pulkasha. Even a low class person born in a dog eater family. Which verse? Ahobat Shopacho Atogariyan Yajjihvagre Vartate Namatubhyam. So therefore Bhagavatam is for everyone. It is not only for Nirmatsaranam Satam. It is for everyone. It is for sadhakas also. Sukhaya karmani karoti loko nate sukham vanya duparamamba vindeta bhuya tata eva dukkham yadatra uktam bhagavan vadennaha. People are suffering in this world. So to benefit them, Bhagavan Vyas has spoken this Bhagavatam. So pure devotees, they relish Bhagavatam, and for a sadhaka, it is like a medicine. They are suffering from disease of Bhavaroga, jaundice. Which verse in Nectar of Instruction tells this? The name, form, pastimes of the Lord, they are like sugarcane juice. Krishna Nam Charitapi Sitapya Avidya. Pittopatapta, bilious secretions are troubling. So Bhagavatam is for everyone, for low class people, for liberated souls, for sadhakas, those who want freedom from the miseries in this world. मुझे भगवान से कुछ अभी लेना देना नहीं है, I am suffering. Where should I go? Read Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is for everyone. So hamninam shulla sukhaya dukkham mahadgatanam viramaya tasya pravartaye bhagavata puranam yadaha sakshat bhagavan rishibhya. Direct verse, it is not that Bhagavatam is only for those who are pure, they want Krishna, it is for everyone. So that's how it is. So Prabhupada writes, Srimad Bhagavatam, somebody can read the short purport, very nice purport, Prabhupada writes.
Srimad Bhagavatam, which is full of narrations of the activities of the Supreme Lord, is auspicious for all living beings residing in every planet. One who takes it as belonging to a particular sect is certainly mistaken. This is even for non-devotees also, because it explains that even the non-devotees, however, under the spell of material energy, can be delivered from such clutches if they hear the narrations of the Srimad Bhagavatam with devotion and attention from the right source representing the Lord by his feet.
So Prabhupada is paraphrasing many verses in this. The last line is itself, Shinvata Shraddhaya Nityam Grinatascha Vicheshtitam. Shinvata, here with Shraddha, Nityam Grinatascha, apply, Vicheshtitam, with attention. So that's what Prabhupada is writing here. So Bhagavatam is very dear scripture for all the devotees, and it is auspicious even for the non-devotees. Those who are suffering in this material world, they don't want anything to do with spiritual life. For them also it is beneficial. So that's how Bhagavatam is for everyone, not just for pure devotional service. And the wonderful, yes, please.
Here, Srila Prabhupada categorically says for non-devotees also, but the condition is that devotion and attention. So that is so difficult, those sadhakas we are trying to follow. But how non-devotees we expect, those who are not non-devotees means what I am considering as the not even come to the platform of sadhaka.
Many times, those who are non-devotees, they are really suffering, and you tell them you do this with devotion, with faith. They have lots of faith and devotion, but the intention is, motivation is different. Why? But wonderful nature of Bhakti is, it purifies the heart. That's the process Kashyap Muni gave to Diti, Humsavana Vrata. She wanted to have a child who can kill Indra. So Kashyap Muni gave, okay, you do devotional service. And she did it very nicely, with full devotion, prayed to the Lord, but she was purified. So that's how Krishna does it. He purifies the heart of everyone, anyone. That's how Krishna is cheating everyone and bringing everyone to devotional service. That's how Bhagavatam is. And Bhagavatam, what are the 4 things Bhagavatam is compared with? In the beginning, we heard it is like a lamp, moon, fruit, sun,
and
Mohini Murti. Why it is compared to Mohini Murti? Bhagavatam is a person, just like Mohini Murti gave nectar to the devatas and, ordinary thing, water maybe, to the demons. So similarly, anyone who comes to Bhagavatam gives according to the desire. Ye yathamam prapadyante. But the interesting thing is, whenever somebody reads Bhagavatam, they get purified in due course of time. So that's how it is. Just like, even by worshipping Tulasi, Guru tells this. There was one captain of the ship, and they were sailing and they came to India. They were on the port, Indian port, some South Indian port for some days. So he thought, chalo thoda ghum ke aate hain. So he went and he wanted a plant to be kept in his ship. So he went and bought a plant and he didn't realize it was tulsi plant. So he brought it, kept it in the cabin, and he was watering it every day. And he was eating non-vegetarian, everything. But after some days, he started having some transformation. He thought, I should not eat. I don't like now eating non-vegetarian. He gave up non-vegetarian. Then he gave up drinking. And then that's how he was really purified. He was following four relative principles. And then he went to some other state, some other country, and there, he met a devotee, and this devotee gave him Bhagavad Gita, and he was reading Bhagavad Gita, and he became a devotee. So that's how Krishna, in whatever way, he is planning how to bring everyone close to Krishna consciousness, everyone close to him. So if they hear with devotion attention, whatever they want, it is auspicious. How it is auspicious? It is not that Prabhupada didn't say they'll get all their material desires fulfilled. That's right. It is auspicious even for the non-devotees. So the supreme auspiciousness is they will become devotees. They'll get purified. Third verse. Kathayasva mahabhaga yathaham akhilatmani Krishne niveshya nisangam manastyakshe kalevaram.
Oh, greatly fortunate Sukadeva Goswami, please continue narrating Srimad Bhagavatam so that I can place my mind upon the Supreme Soul, Lord Krishna, and being completely freed from material qualities, thus relinquish this body.
Kathayasva, O Mahabhaga, O greatly fortunate Sukadeva Goswami, please continue narrating Srimad Bhagavatam. Because aham, yatha aham, akhila atmani, so that I can place my mind upon the Supreme Lord. And what will happen? Krishne niveshya nisangam, Lord Krishna, being completely free from material qualities, will enter manaha. Niveshya manaha, he'll enter my mind as I am leaving my body. Manastyakshe kalevaram. So this is the humility of Parikshit Maharaj. Actually, he had already made up his mind to hear Harikatha, and he is already a pure devotee. It is not that after hearing Bhagavatam he became pure devotee. He was already pure. He had made up his mind to hear Bhagavatam even before Shukadeva Goswami arrived, right? That's what he told all the sages. Dashatvalam gayat Vishnu gatha tamopayatam pratiyantu vipra ganga cha devi dhrityachittam ishe duyopasrishtam kuhakas takshakova. Dashatvalam gayat Vishnu gatha. He has already made up his mind. So this Bhagavatam narration is just incidental for Parikshit Maharaj, but it is of very utmost importance for people in general. Even if Shukadeva Goswami would not have come, Parikshit Maharaj would have gone back home Bhakti Godhead. It is not that after sunne ke baad hi gaye, nahi. It is only for us. So Supreme Lord, he engages his devotees so that ordinary living entities can get benefited. So Prabhupada writes in the purport. To be fully engaged in hearing the transcendental narration described in Bhagavatam means to constantly associate with Krishna. And to constantly associate with Lord means to be liberated. Many times Prabhupada writes, such sequential things. Just like in first canto, 15th chapter, Prabhupada writes a wonderful thing. By the grace of the Lord, by the grace of the devotee, one gets the mercy of the Lord. And by the mercy of the Lord, one gets a chance to serve the devotee of the Lord. In that case of this Khandava, burning of the Khandava and Maidana, he took shelter of Arjuna, and Arjuna said, okay, go to Krishna, and Krishna said, okay, serve Arjuna. So here also he's saying the same thing, similar thing. Fully engaged in narration means to associate with the Lord. And when one associates with the Lord, one is liberated. Krishna Suryasam Maya hai Andhakar. Contamination by material qualities is the cause of repeated birth and death. And liberation is transcendence. Maharaj Parikshit was now a realized soul by this secret of liberation. through the grace of Shukdev Goswami. For the later informed king, the highest perfection of life is to remember Krishna, Narayana. Ante Narayana Smriti Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janma Labha Parapumsa Ante Narayana Smriti. So then Prabhupada writes about this professional reciters. Whenever Prabhupada gets a chance, he, he is really very, very, eager to chastise all those professional reciters. What is the example given if you hear from non-devotee? Milk touched by serpent. What is that verse? Milk touched. Avaishnava mukhodgirnam utam harikathamritam shravanam naiva kartam. Even if he is speaking pure harikatha, इधर उधर का कुछ भी नहीं बोल रहा है, if he is speaking pure harikatha, you should not hear sarpochishta yathapaya. It looks very radical statement. मतलब शुद्ध हरिकथा तो बोल रहा है. No, but the infection is so very deadly that we will not even realize how it will enter the mind. Because the words, they carry the consciousness of the person. So we may not experience it, but it will affect the mind of the hearer.
Like if somebody is, even if it's a devotional song not sung by the
Yes. Even if all the great singers, they are called and Hare Krishna bol rahe hain, the effect which they create and a pure devotee speaking and singing, even though if that pure devotee may not have a good voice, still if he sings, that is touching the heart. And everybody feels happy and satisfied and enlivened. So that is the difference. Yes. Prabhupada writes, fruitive materialist is not a realized soul. He wants to derive from material benefit from so-called hearing. Undoubtedly, such an audience, hearing Bhagavatam from professional men, can derive some material benefit as they desire. But that does not mean that such a pretense of hearing Bhagavatam for a week is as good as hearing of Parikshit. So Bhagavat Saptah, Prabhupada was really against. What is this Saptah? Tatatam kirtayanto mam. Bhagavatam is meant to be heard regularly. Why they are doing all this Saptah? Garam Prabhu would tell कि जब सबसे पहले बार ही ये भागवत सप्ताह in a temple nearby, Srimad Prabhu had arranged. And it was very successful and everybody liked it. And then after that, Maharaj wrote him a big mail. Maharaj, we should be careful of all this pride. And then Param Protest, मुझे एक महीने तक मुझे सप्ताही बोल के चिढ़ा रहे थे. So he was really very concerned that now you are getting so much of respect and prestige, so be very careful. It is duty of the saint to hear Bhagavatam from a self-realized soul and not to be duped by professional men. One should continue such hearing till the end of life, so that one can have a transcendental association. Okay, and then Parikshit Maharaj says, what will be the benefit and advantage of such hearing? Beautiful verses are coming here. Shinvata Shraddhaya Nityam Cheshtitam Alena Nakirtena Bhagavan Vishate Ridhi.
Persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, manifested in their hearts within a short time.
So Srinvataha, those who are hearing, Shraddhaya, with faith, Nityam, regularly, and Grinatascha, they are taking the matter very, very seriously. Grinatascha, Swacheshtitam, Grinatas means applying, and Swacheshtitam means very seriously. What will happen? Kalena na ati dirghena. Not so, it will not take much time. Na ati dirghena. Very quickly, Krishna will enter the heart. Bhagwan Vishate Ridhi. This is one of the verse Jiva Goswami quotes and tells that why Bhakti is Sudurlabha? Because devotees, they don't practice sincerely and seriously enough. And he quotes this verse. Shrinvata Shraddhaya Nityam Grinatascha Swacheshtitam. Swacheshtitam means they are not endeavoring hard enough. So there are no easy paths. If somebody says, आराम से भगवत धाम जाएंगे, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Bhagwan Vishate Ridhi. So someone may say, Lord is already there in the heart. Why you are saying Bhagwan Vishate Ridhi? Paramatma is there in the heart. Paramatma is neutral, but Krishna will manifest as Bhagavan. And he shows favors to his devotees. Role of Paramatma is Upadrashta and Anumanta. He is neutral party. He is observer. He never gives any guidance. He gives guidance, but in a very, very passive way, not so much attached. But Bhagavan, when one starts practicing Krishna consciousness, Lord enters as Bhagavan, manifests as Bhagavan. So hearing and chanting with faith leads to smaranam. When we hear with faith, Shrindvata, Shraddhaya Nityam, Grinatascha Swacheshtitam. It's because if somebody does not have faith, whatever they do will not give any results. Which verse in Bhagavad Gita says this? Anything you do without faith, all the yajna, tapa, dan, anything you do, you will not get the result. 17th chapter, last verse says, Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapas taptam kritam chayad asad iti uchyate. They don't get the result of it. So, Prabhupada, he translates swacheshtitam, yes, by one's own endeavor. So, Prabhupada writes, cheap devotees or materialistic devotees are very much desirous to see the Lord without meeting the requisite qualifications. Such third grade devotees should know well that material attachment and seeing the Lord face to face cannot go together. Bhog Aishwarya Prasaktanam
Vyaparata Chetasam.
Samadhana Vidhiyate. Vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhana vidhiyate. If somebody is attached to sense gratification, he will not practice bhakti properly. He will not see the Lord. It is not such a mechanical process that the Bhagavatam reciters can do the job on behalf of third grade materialistic pseudo devotee. Again, Prabhupada comes to Bhagavatam reciters. The professional men are useless in this connection because they are neither self-realized nor interested in liberation of the audience. And many times, Bhagavatam reciters, they just to go into the mood, they take intoxication also. थोड़ा अच्छा लगता है, उसके बाद थोड़ा मूड आता है, थोड़ा एक दो ग्लास पी लेते हैं तो अच्छा लगता है. So many of the reciters, they give Bhagavad Katha also. So what type of it will produce to the audience who are hearing it? Prabhupada writes, Parikshit Maharaj had no more than 7 days to live. But for others, Maharaj Parikshit personally recommends that one hear Bhagavatam Nityam regularly, always by one's own effort and with serious devotion also. Swacheshtita means two things, Prabhupada writes. One's own effort and with serious devotion. Then Krishna will manifest in the heart. That is a secret. Swacheshtitam. So endeavoring means one does not have spontaneous taste, because till the time one reaches the stage of ruchi, the taste doesn't come. Even at the stage of nishtha, abhi to anartha nivritti chal raha hai. So even at the stage of nishtha, when the anarthas are almost gone, still ruchi has not come. Still the devotee does not feel spontaneously attracted to chanting. but still he does it. From anartha nivritti to nishtha is in our hand. By our endeavor, we can reach up till the stage of nishtha. And we don't have to wait for the taste to practice nisthit bhajan. Anisthit bhajan and nishthit bhajan. Anisthit bhajan means unsteady devotion service. It has 6 qualities. Utsahamai, Ghanatarala, Vyuda Vikalpa, Niyamakshama. Last is Tarang Rangini. Correct. Utsahamai, Ghanatarala, Vyuda Vikalpa, Vishaya Sangar, Niyamakshama and Tarang Rangini. These are the 6 things which Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in Anishchit Bhajan. Unsteady devotional service. Utsahamai, sometimes very, very enthusiastic, sometimes sometimes ghan, very condensed, sometimes taral. Vishaya Sangar, still attached to sense gratification. Niyamakshama, he wants to increase the practice of devotional service. Kal se now, I will chant 2 rounds more. Pakka. I will read Bhagavatam every day and at least 15 minutes, but doesn't stay. Now he is studying this 16 mala kar raha hai, 4 niyam palan kar raha hai, but he cannot increase his devotional practice. Usko bolte hain niyamakshama. And then ultimately last is Taranga Rangini. At the stage of this, at this stage, a person is really steady in his practice. He is known to be a very good devotee, very great devotee. Many people, they take inspiration from that person. So what will come at that stage? What may come? Pride. That is called as Taranga Rangini. The waves of pride come. So till the time we don't cross this, and reach the stage of ruchi, we can practice bhakti steadily also. Because at the stage of nishtha, we can practice steady devotional service. So therefore, we have to practice steady devotional service. And there are 5 more obstacles in the path of Anishtita Bhajan. First is called as laya. You know what is laya? Laya means what happens when we start chanting many times. We go to sleep. We don't get so much excited by all the process of devotional service. Our Mahatma Prabhu, he describes 21 types of japa with which devotees they do. क्या नाम देते हैं उसका? एक बम्बल बी जपा, फिर एक कॉन्स्टिपेशन जपा, ऐसा. Anyways, so that's what is laya. Chakravarti Thakur says that laya is the weakness of being more sleepy during hearing, during chanting. Second is vikshepa. Vikshepa means talking or thinking about mundane things, not related to devotional service. That includes talking about faults of other devotees. That is called as vikshepa. That is the biggest tapasya in devotee community. Muh band rakhna hai, to keep them out shut. When we know, isme ye problem, still, it is the biggest tapasya. That is called as vikshepa. Third is apratipatti. Apratipatti means when this laya and vikshepa are both absent. He is not feeling sleepy and he is not talking all the other things, but he is not interested in chanting. समय भी है, लेकिन मन नहीं कर रहा है chanting करने. So that is called as apratipatti. And fourth is kashaya. Kashaya means tendency to display faults like anger, greed, arrogance while doing devotional activities. He is now doing devotional activities, still he is arrogant. I am doing such great work, great seva I am doing. Or sometimes he tries to get some advantage out of this devotional service also, greedy about the material things. That's called kashaya. And rasaswada. Rasaswada means the mind is so attached to sense pleasure, often meditating on it, that he is unable to hear and chant with concentration. So all these things are symptoms of Anishtita Bhajan. So the person at the stage of anartha nivritti doesn't do sadhana bhakti because he has no taste. That is there. Taste is not there, but still he practices bhakti more because he is troubled by the anarthas. इनसे निकलना है इसलिए chanting करना है. Taste का तो question ही नहीं है. At the stage of nishtha also there is no taste. अनर्थ निवृत्ति में तो taste है ही नहीं. निष्ठा also there is no taste. ऐसा नहीं है कि taste थोड़ा आ गया है. This is not there, but still the determination is so strong. He does it. He is free from all the above obstacles. ना उसको लय है, कषाय, अप्रतिपत्ति, विक्षेप, रसास्वाद कुछ भी नहीं. Still taste has not come. But still, because of his serious endeavor, he is not having taste. Still he is endeavoring. Seeing that endeavor, Krishna awards him taste. And then he reaches to the level of ruchi. So how to go from anartha nivritti to nishtha? Swacheshtitam. Shinvata shraddhaya nityam grinatascha swacheshtitam. Serious endeavor. That is called as serious endeavor. Then kalena nati dirghena. So that is the understanding. So this is a very, very important verse. Chakravarti Thakur writes that the effort in remembering Krishna is not necessary for the devotee who hears and chants. Even without great effort, the Lord spontaneously enters the heart. So that is the interesting thing. Okay, the next is also another very, very beautiful, interesting verse. Pravishta. So now he says how hearing leads to remembrance. The process is required. Shrindvata shraddhaya nityam. If you hear, then you will remember. What is the process? Pravishta karna randhrena swanam bhava saroruham
Swanam bhava saroruham
noti shamalam krishnaha
noti shamalam Krishna
salilasya yathasharat.
Salilasya.
The sound incarnation of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul, that is Srimad Bhagvatam, enters into the heart of a self-realized devotee, sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship, and thus cleanses the dust of material association, such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus, it acts like autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water. Hare Krishna.
So when this sound vibration pravishtaha, he enters karnarandhrena, enters the holes of ears. Swanam, and when it enters the holes of ears, where does it go? It doesn't go to the brain and analyzes. It goes to the heart. Swanam bhava saroruham, the heart of a self-realized devotee, and sits on that lotus flower. And what happens? Dhunoti, cleanses. What? Shamalam, all the dust of material association, lust, anger, greed. Salilasya yathashara, just like autumnal rains, cleanses everything. So someone may say, well, this is not so remarkable. Jnana and yoga can also do this. By Jnana and yoga also, the mind gets purified, the heart gets purified. So Prabhupada says, it is said that a single pure devotee of the Lord can deliver all fallen conditions of the world. That is the power of devotional service. One devotee, Brahmanda tarite shakti dhare jane jane, e veda purane guna gaye jeva sune. Devaki Nandan Das Thakur, he writes in one of the bhajan. So Chakravarti Thakur says, well, Jnana and yoga can also do this. Following three answers. Following the path of Jnana and yoga to purify the heart is like purifying water using alum. What happens due to the purification? Just settles down. It is not purified. Water is not purified, just the dirt has settled down. By mixing a substance in the jar of water, that water alone is purified. But not all the waters in the rivers or ponds are purified. एक जार का ही पानी शुद्ध होगा. All the rivers are still dirty. And second thing is contamination remains in the jar. It is not destroyed. By shaking the jar, the dirt again comes up. So the Gyan and Yoga purify some people, but not all. So that is a very important thing. Just like the alum can purify only a small vessel of water, cannot purify the river. Gyan and Yoga can purify some people, not all. And even then, not completely. जिनका purification भी होता है वो भी पूरा नहीं होता है. First of all, very few people get purified because the process itself is very tedious process. So the cleansing of the polluted heart by other methods like Gyan and Yoga can simply cleanse one's own heart. But devotional service is so powerful, it can cleanse the hearts of people in general. That is the power of devotional service. So Gyan and Yoga can help one personally. That too, not completely. Devotional service helps people in general. As Prahlad Maharaj says, Prayena deva munayo swami mukti kama maunam charanti nijane naparartha nishtha. So he says, I've seen people, those who are yogis, they are just interested in their own liberation. Na parartha nishtha, they have no concern for people in general. So therefore, devotee, he feels for others peoples. Just like Vasudeva Dutt, he says, oh my Lord, give me the sins of all the people of the world and send them to spiritual world. I'll suffer. So that is a devotee. So therefore, it is a duty of the devotee to engage in preaching. Continues. Purification of the heart by the culture of knowledge or yoga may be all right for the time being for an individual person, but it is like cleansing of a small quantity of stagnant water by chemical process. Such clarification may stand for time being, but a slight agitation, everything becomes muddy. So that's how it is. So first of all, doesn't purify all the people, and whatever small number of people they are purified, they are also purified to a little extent. So Chakravarti Thakur tells another verse from first canto. Yamadhivir yoga pathai kam lobha hato muhu mukunda sevaya yadvat tathatma dhana shamyati. The Atma, constantly afflicted by lust and greed, will not be satisfied by yoga and other paths as much as by direct service to Mukunda. That's how Bhakti is the complete path. So path of karma, in the sixth canto, path of karma is compared to what? Shukdev Goswami says, when Parikshit Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami describes the hellish planets, then Parikshit Maharaj says, how will they get liberated? So what does Shukdev Goswami say? नहीं तो एंड में बताते हैं. सबसे पहले what option he gives? How these people will get benefited? Do paschatap, atonement. So what does he say? Parikshit Maharaj, atonement is like elephant bathing. It is not a good thing. It is like fourth class intelligence, you know. So then Shukdev Goswami tells the next option. What is that? He gives another example. Okay, follow Jnana Yoga. He says, Arey, what is the use of Jnana Yoga? It is like, हाँ वो भी है और एक दूसरा भी देते हैं. Venu gulmam ivanalaha, and the creepers are burned. Next rainy season they again grow up. क्या फायदा है? You know, all this Gyan is like that. The purity, the sinful content, the sinful reactions, they don't get purified. The bija doesn't get burnt. Papa bija is not destroyed. Huh? And then he tells, Shukdev Goswami tells the third thing. That is Bhakti. And he compares it to what? Niharam eva bhaskaraha. Just like the fog is completely dissipated when the sun rises. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayana. Agham dhunvanti kartsnena niharam eva bhaskaraha. So that is the process of the yoga. Completely destroys everything. What is that Padma Puran verse? Nectar of devotion describes everything. All the sinful reactions get purified. They are destroyed. Famous है ना Padma Puran का. And nectar of devotion. कितना सारा. अप्रारब्ध फलम पापम कूटम बीजम क्रमेणैव praliyeta Vishnu bhakti ratatmana. These are some of the verses which we should always remember. They are very, very important. Everything gets purified. Papa, bij, koota, sab nashta ho jata. What is koota?
Proclivity to commit more sinfully.
Proclivity to commit sinful activity. That also gets purified. So that's how bhakti purifies everything. It is like a fire consumes entire firewood. Yathagni susamidharchi karoti erhamsi bhasmasat tatha mad vishaya bhakti uddhave namsi kritsnashaha. Just like the fire burns the firewood completely. O Uddhava, devotional service purifies one completely. And in other place, bhakti is compared to digestive fire. We discussed this earlier sometimes. Bhakti is compared to digestive fire for three reasons. What are the three characteristics? What are the various characteristics of digestive fire? Digestive fire burns only the waste products, doesn't burn the nutrients. Similarly, devotional service destroys all the anarthas and nourishes the devotional sentiments. The Jatharagni digests slowly. It takes time. Similarly, devotional service purifies a person gradually. And third thing is, if the digestive fire is good, the person does not have to do any extra gymnastics to digest the food. Similarly, to get purified of all the anarthas, a devotee does not have to do anything else. All the good qualities automatically arise in the character of a devotee. Which verse? All the good qualities of devatas, they come. Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana. So that's how pravishtaha karna randhrena swanam bhava saroruham dhunoti shamalam krishna. So Prabhupada writes, it is said that a single pure devotee can deliver all the souls. That's how Prabhupada begins. Thus, one who's actually in the confidence of a pure devotee like Narada or Shukdev Goswami, and thus is empowered by one's spiritual master, he can not only deliver himself, but can deliver the entire world. Prahlad Maharaj tells in his prayers to Narasimhadev, O Supreme Lord, what is the use of all the qualifications of Brahmana? Vipra dushad gun yuta tarvindanabha, Vipra dushad gun yuta tarvindanabha, Padaravinda vimukha shopacham varishtham, Manye tadarpit mano vachane hitartha, Pranam punati sakulam nat bhurimana. I am not interested in all these Brahmanical qualifications, all the 12 qualifications of a Brahmana. What is the use of these? They cannot even purify their own family. How they will purify the other people? So therefore, I am only interested in devotional service. Then Prabhupada explains the analogy, how rains purify all the everything. 10th canto, there is a beautiful verse which describes how various things are purified. Kalena. In due course of time, all the mountains, trees, they get cleansed off. We'll clean the trees. In due course of time, they get purified by the rains. Kalena. Snana. By taking bath, the body is purified. Shauchabhyam. Samskaraihi. By samskar, the birth is purified. Tapasya. By tapasya, austerity, the body is purified. Ijjaya. When you offer things to the Lord, the articles get purified. Kalena, snana, shauchabhyam, samskarai, tapasya, shuddhanti danai. This is a very famous. हर एक डोनेशन कलेक्शन डिपार्टमेंट में ये लगाया रहता है, शुद्धंति दानई. The wealth becomes purified when you give in charity. Santushtya, mind gets purified by satisfaction. And the Atma Vidya, Atma gets purified by spiritual knowledge. Yes. Prabhupada continues. The cleansing of the polluted heart by other methods can simply cleanse one's own heart. Devotional service can purify everyone. Prabhupada gives an example. Narada, Shukdev Goswami, Lord Chaitanya, Shad Goswamis, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, etc. can deliver all people by their empowered devotional service. Prabhupada is such an amazing personality. He never ever takes credit. Prabhupada, he always told that 10,000 years this movement will go on. Anyone knows where this comes? Which scripture it comes? 10,000 years this movement. These are the golden years. There is a scripture, Brahma Vaibhav Puran. Usme there is a discussion between Ganga Devi and Supreme Lord. It comes in Golok Arohanam Parva. That is the chapter, 134th chapter of this book. Usme there is a discussion going on between Ganga Devi and Krishna. Just before Golok Arohan, just before Krishna departs for Goloka, Ganga Devi comes and tells, He Natha Ramana Sreshta Yasi Golokam Uttamam Asmakam Jagatischatra Bhavishyati Kalo Yuge. अरे आप तो चले जाएंगे गोलोक, मेरा क्या होगा? कलयुग में सब आएंगे, नहाएंगे, मुझ में पाप डाल के जाएंगे. How will I get purified? So there, Krishna tells, don't worry, you stay for 10,000 years. You stay for Kale Panch Shasrani Tishtati Tava Bhutale. Panchi bolte hain usme. So he says, you stay on this earth for 5,000 years. And all the people will come, they will dump their sins on you, don't worry. Mama mantra upasak sparshat, bhasmi bhutani takshana, darshanani, says, snana deva cha janvi, something he says, that don't worry, my mantra upasak will come. Who is that mantra upasak? He will bring people from all over the world, devotees from all over the world. They will take darshan of you. By darshan, they will purify you. Don't worry, in this way, 10,000 years this will go on. So Prabhupada always told 10,000, but he never emphasized on this mantra upasak because it was about him. So he was that person, Senapati Bhakta. Here also he is taking the name of everyone, of course, naturally he will not take his name. By sincere efforts to hear Bhagavatam, realizes his constitutional relationship with the Lord. Not only were all pure devotees like Narada self-realized souls, but they were engaged in preaching work automatically by spiritual impetus. For us, for sadhakas, preaching is an instruction which is given to them. For a pure devotee, preaching is a natural outcome of a heart which is full of devotion. It is like if you keep putting charnamrit in the glass, after some time it will overflow. So it is natural expression of a heart which is full of devotion. But for sadhakas, it is a service they have to do to get purified. So when we are preaching, we are not going in a mode, chalo sabka udhar karke aayenge. We are going to get purified ourselves. Okay. The next is also a very beautiful verse. So somebody may say, okay, so somebody may say that, okay, you have said that when the sound vibration enters the heart, when it gets purified, what is the proof of that? What is the proof that the Shuddha ho gaya? Pravishta dhautatma purushaha Krishna पादमूलं न मुञ्चति मुक्तः सर्वपरिक्लेशः पान्थः
सर्वपरिक्लेश
स्वशरणं यथा
पान्थः स्वशरणं यथा
The pure devotee of the Lord, whose heart has once been cleansed by the path of devotional service, never relinquishes the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna, for they fully satisfy him as a traveler is satisfied at home after a troubled journey.
Dhaut Atma Purushaha, the person with a pure heart, Dhaut Atma, Atma जिसकी धुल गई है, शुद्ध, pure heart, what he does? Krishna Pada Moolam na Munchati. He does not give up the root of the feet of Krishna. He is like a traveler. Panthaha. Pantha means a traveler. Just like Yatha Panthaha, Mukta Sarva Pariklesha, he becomes free of all the sufferings. When he comes back home. Pantha Shwa Sharanam Yatha. So when he comes back home, he is peaceful. So that is the symptom of a person who is purified. He is freed of all the suffering because he has earned now the wealth of Krishna. So therefore, a devotee never leaves Krishna. That is the symptom of a purified heart. Sei bhakta dhanya jena chhade prabhur charan. Sei prabhu dhanya jena chhade nich jan. Durdaiva sevak yadi jaye anya sthane. Sei prabhu dhanya tare chule dharyane. Sei prabhu dhanya. Sei bhakta dhanya. That devotee is such a great devotee who never leaves the Lord. And that Lord is also so great who never leaves the devotees. Somehow, if the devotee thinks, "Thoda chalo ghum ke aate hain," Krishna doesn't allow it. Krishna consciousness is a one-way path. You cannot come out. It's like वो बचपन में story सुना था ना, वो एक, there was a deer or something. He saw all the footprints are going inside only. कोई बाहर ही नहीं आ रहा है. So that's how Krishna consciousness is. Anyone who enters this path, Krishna doesn't leave him. छोड़ते ही नहीं है. न वै जनो जातु कथंचन ब्रजेन मुकुंद सेव्यन्यवदंग संसृतिम स्मरण मुकुंदांग्र्युपगूहनम पुनः विहातुमिच्छेन नरसग्रहो जनः. Anyone who has tasted once, he is like a person who is haunted by the ghost of rasa. He is haunted by the ghost of good experiences. उसको बार बार याद आता है, मजा आया था, मजा आया था. He can never leave. So that's how a devotee can never leave Krishna, and Krishna never leaves the devotees. Pantha Shwa Sharanam Yatha. So that is the test of a devotee who has a purified heart. Prabhupada writes. One who is not a pure devotee is not completely cleansed in heart. But a perfectly cleansed person never quits the devotional service. In discharging devotional service, as ordered by Narada, as ordered by Brahma to Narada, sometimes a representative of the Lord engaged in preaching work meets various so-called difficulties. And he gives the example of Nityanand Prabhu beaten by Jagai Madhai, Jesus Christ crucified by non-believers. But such difficulties are gladly suffered. Anywhere we hear this? A devotee happily endures all the difficulties in service. Very famous bhajan of Bhakti Thakur. Tomara sevaya dukkha hoye jata seyo to parama sukha. Seva sukha dukkha parama sampada nashaye avidya dukkha. That is how a devotee is ready to go through all the pains. Prahlad Maharaj suffered greatly, but he never forgot the lotus feet of the Lord. This is because a pure devotee is so purified in his heart that he cannot leave the shelter of Krishna in any circumstance. When people, they go through problems in their life, they have different shelters. Some people take shelter of sense gratification. Some people take shelter of food. खाओ और सो जाओ. Some people take shelter of intoxication. गम भुलाने के लिए थोड़ा पीना पड़ता है. Some people, they take shelter of movies and all the tamoguni sense gratification. But the symptom of a devotee is he takes shelter of Krishna. He will always go to Krishna and pray to him. So that is a symptom of a purified soul. Bhautatma Purusha Krishna Pada Moolam na Munchati. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes a wonderful thing. In this verse, Navai Jano Jatu Kathanchana Varjin, in that Chakravarti Thakur writes a very beautiful purport. He says, he may give up by his own choice the worship. छोड़ देता है, विवश हो गया. Once, twice or three times because of his poor determination. After some time, by remembering his previous state of bliss, from remembering the Lord, and also remembering his present state of distress, from not remembering the Lord. याद आता है पहले कितना आनंद में था, अभी इतना दुखी हूं. He repents. Oh, what have I done foolishly? Let that be. I will not again abandon worship. दोबारा नहीं छोड़ूंगा. That's how Krishna Pad Moolam na Munchati. He can never give up, because he is haunted by the ghost of good experiences. Prahlad Maharaj is described about him. Nyasta kridanako balo jadvattan manastaya Krishna graha grihitatma na veda jagadidrisham. Some people are haunted by Shani, Rahu. Prahlad को कौन सा ग्रह लग गया है? कृष्ण ग्रह. तो जिसको कृष्ण ग्रह लग जाता है वो भी पागल की तरह ही घूमते हैं इधर उधर. People think ये भी पागल हो गया, इसको भी भूत चढ़ गया है. He's haunted by the ghost of, he's haunted by Krishna planet, Krishna graha, grihitatma, naved jagadidrisham. So that is a wonderful process of devotional service. So then after encouraging Shukadeva Goswami in so many different ways, now Parikshit Maharaj asks a series of questions about karma, jnana, yoga. And someone may think, why Parikshit Maharaj is asking all these questions? Anyways, you have few days remaining. Bhagwan के बारे में पूछो ना directly. Why you want to ask about कौन से भूमंडल में? He asks all these things. भूमंडल का description बताओ. कौन से भूमंडल में किधर क्या होता है? You tell me about the stars. Devotee has a natural compassion for everyone because he is seeing that in the audience, all these people, they are not all devotees. Some are karmis, jnanis, yogis, सब आ गए हैं ना. So he is thinking, चलो भाई इनके ऊपर भी थोड़ा कृपा करते हैं, कुछ तो सुनेंगे, So therefore, he is asking everything so that people will say, चलो हमारे लिए भी कुछ पूछ रहे हैं. If everything is pure devotional service only, तो बोलेंगे यार हमारे लिए कुछ है ही नहीं, छोड़ो ना, हम लोग जाते हैं. तो बीच बीच में थोड़ा ऐसा भी बताते रहते हैं, so that their interest is also maintained. अच्छा आगे कुछ तो आने वाला है अभी अपने लिए. That's how Parikshit Maharaj is asking different questions for people who are like Jnana Mishra Bhakta, Yoga Mishra Bhakta. And Chakravarti Thakur writes in all the purports, in all the questions, that this question is for this person, this question is for this type of people. So now we'll continue, we'll start the questions. So answer to these questions, they form the entire Bhagavatam. Some answers are in Lord Krishna and Brahma Samvad. It will come when Brahmaji, Lord appears in front of Brahma. And then some answers are in Maitreya and Vidur Samvad. So that's how this thing progresses. Okay, so then the next question. Now the question starts. Okay, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes something in the 6th verse purport. He quotes a verse from Kapila Dev prayers instructions where he is telling how a yogi with a purified heart can never give up the lotus feet of the Lord. It is very difficult for him. He very forcefully takes his mind away from Paramatma feature and focuses on Brahman. Because Paramatma is so very attractive, beautiful. So he quotes a verse. Evam harau bhagavati pratilabdha bhavo bhaktya dravadridaya utpulka pramodaha autkanta bashpakalaya muhuradyamana tacchapi chitta badisham shanakair vayumte. So after this, yogi gets darshan of the Lord in his heart. Abhi darshan ho gaya hai. And seeing the Lord, when he is experiencing Autkantya, Bashpa, Kalaya, all the symptoms of ecstasy are rising in the heart. But still, unfortunate yogi, what he does? He takes his mind away from this form of the Lord. Gradually, forcefully, चित्त शनकैर, बहुत मेहनत लगता है उसको भगवान के रूप से ध्यान हटाने. But he is so unfortunate. He distracts himself from this form and focuses on Brahman. So, but a devotee, he never ever leaves the lotus feet of the Lord. Okay, from 7th verse onwards, he starts asking questions. Yadadhatu mato Brahman deharambhosya dhatubihi yadrichaya hetuna va
Richaya
bhavanto
hetunava
janate yatha.
bhavanto janate yatha.
Son Brahmana, the transcendental is present in the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this, for it is known to you?
So, he is now asking questions about Jiva and the Supreme Lord. So, this is the first question which he is asking. So he says, how did the Jiva, which is spiritual, attain a body which is material? Because Jiva is material, spiritual. How can there be a combination between matter and spirit? How is it possible? So is this body produced by chance or is there some other reason? So please explain me. And Chakravarti Thakur says that persons other than you do not know this. Why should I ask them? Therefore I am asking you only. You know everything. Prabhupada writes. So Maharaj Parikshit, being a typical devotee, is not only satisfied by confirming the importance of hearing Bhagavatam, he is still more anxious to establish the philosophical basis of Bhagavatam. So he is not a sentimental devotee, बस अच्छा लग रहा है कथा सुनाते रहिए. He is a very, very technically astute and philosophically inclined devotee. He is eager to understand the basis. Indirectly, it is confirmed that the Supreme Lord makes no such material changes of the body. Only the conditioned soul awaiting liberation are subjected to change of bodies. So that is the process. Supreme Lord, he never gets affected. Etadishanamishasya prakriti asthopi tadgunaiha na yujyate. Although the Lord is situated in this material world, performs all the activities of the material creation, he never gets affected by it. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, there is no work for me in this world. Still I am working. Where he says this? I don't desire the results of all my work. I have no work in this world. Still I am working. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha iti mam yobijanati karma bhirna sabadhyate. So that's how. The conditioned souls, they get subjected to material changes, the bodies, their bodies. Supreme Lord, he never gets affected. So therefore, to come out of this cycle of birth and death, we have to first inquire. So Prabhupada writes, even if one is fixed in devotional service like Maharaj Parikshit, he must still inquire from the realized spiritual master all about this. So it is not that I understand that devotional service is the best thing, but still we should ask questions. And the epitome of this is example I can think of is Anandandavru. सुने हैं आनंद वृंदावन प्रो का नाम आप लोग सुने नहीं सुने?
This is
He's a very senior devotee since मतलब 90s से हैं वो, and every class he asks मतलब so many questions, and mostly all the questions are same only, अलग अलग प्रकार से वही क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, and he's like very senior devotee. 64 माला करते हैं, 192 माला करते हैं. So he has a whole group of people, doing japa with him, around 200 people.
Yes, yes.
5 बजे ही सुबह
LIC का बिजनेस भी करते हैं, म्यूचुअल फंड का.
अभी तो छोड़ दिया, अभी हो गया उनका, अभी उनका लड़का है, he takes care of everything. So he asks questions, same questions almost, in different ways he asks every time Maharaj gives class. And I was hearing 90 का lecture था, 1990 का एक lecture recording I was hearing. उसमें राधानाथ स्वामी महाराज says we should write a book on Anand Vrindavan Prabhu's questions. So that's although one is very fixed in devotional service, still he should inquire, because we should not trust the mind कि नहीं अभी मेरे मन में तो कुछ है ही नहीं शंका. That's all. So first question is about relationship between body and the soul. So he says it's unreal, it seems. How is this possible? So answer is given in the next chapter, where Shukadeva Goswami says actually there is no relationship between Atma and material world, material body. It is just like a dream state. Swapna drashtur iva anjasa. So only way to get out of it is practice of bhakti. So that is the first thing. First question he asks about the nature of the jiva. Then in the next question, next verse, he asks about nature of the Supreme Lord. So okay, in the 8th verse purport, 7th purport, Prabhupada writes, indirectly it is confirmed that the Supreme Being makes no such material changes of the body. He is spiritually whole with no difference between his body and his soul. The liberated living beings, being the associates of the Lord, are also exactly like the Lord. Only the conditioned souls go through changes. How was the process first begun? In the process of devotional service, the first step is to inquire. And then gradually practice bhakti, one gets purified. The next verse, next question he asks about the Supreme Lord. Asidyad udarat padmam lok sanstana lakshanam yavanayam vai purusha yadavayavai prathak yavanasaviti proktaha samstha vayavaya paniva.
If the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the lotus stem sprouted in is possessed of a gigantic body according to his own caliber and measurement, then what is the specific differences between the body of the Lord and those common living entities? Hare Krishna.
So next question he asks about Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So first question was about Jiva, second question is about the Lord. So he says, is there only difference in size or is there any other difference also? So what is the difference between Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and living entities? Size का ही अंतर है कि और भी कुछ है? Because he says that in the next verse he says that dog gives rise to puppy, cat gives rise to kitten. So dog and puppy is same nature, cat, kitten same nature. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu gives rise to Brahma, and Brahma's body is material, and इनका body is spiritual. ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? So what is the reason behind this? So that's a very technically, he is very intelligently, Parikshit Maharaj is asking questions. So Prabhupada writes, one should note how Maharaj Parikshit intelligently put questions before spiritual master. for scientific understanding of the transcendental body of the Lord. It is described in many places that the Lord assumed a gigantic body from which the universe is generated. The body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is described as sprouting the lotus stem from which the planets, within which the planets remain. And at the top of this lotus flower is born on which Brahma takes birth. In the creation of material world, Supreme Lord assumes a gigantic body and living entities also get small bodies. So is there only difference of size or is there any other difference? So that is the question which Parikshit Maharaj is asking. Aja srijati bhutani bhutatma yatanugraha
Bhutatma
tadrishayena
yanugraha
tadrupam
Dvishyayen
navi padma
tadrupam
samudbhavaha.
Navi Padma Samudbhava.
Brahma, who was not born of a material source, but of the lotus, coming out of the living abdomen of the Lord, is the creator of all those who are materially born. Of course, by the grace of the Lord, Brahma was able to see the form of the Lord.
Okay. So he is telling that Brahma was born from the body of the Lord, from the navel. So what is the difference? So Chakravarti Thakur writes, certainly you should explain the difference. Brahma is the controller of the living individual bodies, and since he represents the totality of the body, since he has come from the lotus in the navel of the Lord, by the Lord's mercy alone he creates. And the Lord is not without form, because Brahma saw that form. Though Brahma is unborn, he appears from the lotus in the Lord's navel. Is the form of the Lord similar to that of the material body of Brahma? That's the question. Because, we have the general understanding is when a person takes birth, so the mother, father and the child, same quality. So Brahma and the Lord, are they same or are they different? Next thing he asks. Satchapi yatra purusho vishvastitudbhavapyayah muktvatmamaya mayeshah shete sarvaguhashayah.
It also explains the personality of Godhead who lies in every heart as the super soul and as the Lord of all energies, but is untouched by his external energy.
So now he asks, what is the difference between, please tell me about Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and please tell me about Karanodakshaya Vishnu also. The Lord who sleeps in the water and the Lord who is there in the heart of everyone. Please tell me about them also. So it is not that Parikshit Maharaj does not know who is Karanodakshaya Vishnu, who is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Shete Sarva Guhashaya, the Lord who is there in the heart of everyone. So he knows everything. Still he is asking for the welfare of everyone. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that he is asking a different question. Please describe the place where the Lord lies. Tell me about that. Though he is the Lord of Maya, he does not touch her since she is his external energy. So how does he act in this world? Next verse, he again asks another question. Now he asks about Hiranyagarbha. Purusha Vayavair Lokah Purva Kalpitah Lokairamushya Vayavah Sapalairiti Kushuma.
Sapale Ratismitam.
O Lord Brahmana, it was formed.
Learned.
Who learned Brahmana, it was formally explained that all the planets of the universe with their respective governors are situated in the different parts of the gigantic body of Virat Purusha. I have also heard that the different planetary systems are supposed to be in the gigantic body of the Virat Purusha. But what is their actual position? Will you please explain them?
Now he is asking about Hiranyagarbha. So he says, Loka, the planets, and Sapala and their protectors. They were previously Purva Kalpitaha. Kalpita, Kalpana. This word has come many times. Itiva Loka Kalpana. So these planets, they were identified as the Purusha Avayavai. They are identified as the limbs of the Purusha. And the limbs of the Purusha were identified with the planets. This I have heard. Iti Shushruma. So now, please tell me a little more about them. Please tell me about this form of the Lord in little more detail. So that is the next question he asks. Then he continues his questions. Yavan kalpo vikalpo va yatha kalo numiyate bhuta bhavya bhavachabdha ayurmanam chayat sataha.
Please explain the duration of time between creation and annihilation and that of other subsidiary creations, as well as the nature of time, indicated by the sound of past, present, and future. Also, please explain the duration and measurement of life of the different living beings, known as the demigods, the human beings, etc., in different planets of the universe.
So now he's asking about the Kal and Karma. So please explain about the duration of time. Yavan kalpa vikalpa. Please explain about the kalpa and the subdivisions, manvantaras. And yatha kalo anumiyate, how the time is perceived. Because different people, they perceive time in different ways. Time remains the same for everyone. Brahma also lives for 100 years. We also live for 100 years. But the Brahma's experience of 100 years and our experience of 100 years is same. But the time duration is huge difference. So how this difference perception is there? So please tell me about that. And please tell me about the Ayumanam. Please tell me about the life duration of humans, devatas and pitris. कौन-कौन कितने साल जीते हैं वो भी बताइए. So that's how he is asking. कालस्यानुगतिर्यातु लक्ष्यते अन्वी बृहत्यपि यावत्यः कर्मगतयो यादृशीर्द्विजसत्तमा.
O purest of the Brahmanas, please also explain the cause of the different durations of time, both short and long, as well as the beginning of time following the course of action.
So he is asking about the durations of time. Karma gatayaha. He says, O Dvijasattama, O Brahmana, kalasya anugatihi. Please speak about the progress of time with large and small divisions. Lakshyate anvi brihati. Anvi means small divisions and the long divisions. So this is explained in the 3rd canto. There's a whole chapter, divisions of time. So in that he describes how time factor works and different destinations achieved by their karma. Karma gatayaha. So Devahuti asks about this karma gati. So in that it will be described. 3rd canto it will be described by Kapil Deva. This karma gati, how one will be detached from this. So all that. Then he continues in the 14th verse he continues. Yasmin karma samavayo yatha yono pagrahyate gunanam guninam chaiva parinamam abhipsatam.
Then again, kindly describe how the proportionate accumulation of the reactions resulting from the different modes of material nature act upon the desiring living being, promoting or degrading him among the different species of life, beginning from the demigods down to the most insignificant creatures.
So speak about the bodies. Gunanam parinamam. So please speak about the different bodies. They are abhipsatam. They are desired. So different jivas, they desire different types of bodies. So please tell me which karma leads to which body and how do they get their results. So that is what he asks. Then in the 15th verse, he asks about creation, various planets of this universe and the various creation of their inhabitants of the various planets. How does it take place? Bhupatalaka kubhyoma graha nakshatra bhubhritam sarit samudra dvipanam sambhavaschaitadokasam.
Best of the Brahmanas, please also describe how the creation of the globes throughout the universe, the four directions of the heavens, the sky, the planets, the stars, the mountains, the rivers, the seas, and islands, as well as their different kinds of inhabitants takes place.
So he is now asking about the various types, various places of this universe and what are the different types of people staying in those universes. Please speak about the creation, sambhavaha. Please speak about the creation of the earth, bhu, patal planets, kakub, the directions, vyoma, about the sky, graha nakshatra, about the planets, about the constellations, bhubhritam, about the mountains, sarit, samudra, dvipa. कुछ भी नहीं छोड़ रहे हैं, मतलब कुछ नहीं, इतना क्यों डिटेल में पूछने क्या जरूरत है इनको, कौन सा क्रिएशन किधर हुआ है, कैसे हुआ है, कौन रहते हैं उधर. That's how, he's asking unlimited questions, and then after asking everything, in the end he says, जो मैंने पूछा है वो बताइए, जो नहीं पूछा है ना वो भी बताइए. You tell me everything. So he tells actually, whatever I have not asked, please tell me that also. तो 1000 क्वेश्चन पूछने के बाद बोलते हैं जो नहीं बताया वो पूछा है वो भी बताइए. So that is how he's so very eager to know about the creation, because for a devotee, creation reminds him about the creator. How great my Lord is. He has created so many wonderful things. But for an ordinary person, he gets attracted by the creation, not by the creator. गाना ही गाते रहते हैं, तारीफ करो क्या. But they're not attracted by the creator. They're attracted by the creation. But the devotees like Parikshit Maharaj, they are interested in asking all these wonderful questions because everything about the creation reminds them about the creator. He continues about asking questions about universe. He is now asking, please tell me the dimensions of the universe. Universe kitna bada hai? Pramanam mandakoshasya bahyabhyantara bhedataha Mahatam chanucharitam varna ashram vinishchayaha.
Also, please describe the inner and outer space of the universe by specific divisions, as well as the character and activities of the great souls, and also the characteristics of the different classifications of the castes and orders of social life.
Okay, so 3 questions he asks: dimensions of the universe, activities of the devotees, and varnashram. So dimensions of the universe, they are answered in the 5th canto, 16 to 26th in detail. 5.16 to 5.26. They answer the questions of universe. Prabhupada writes, Parikshit Maharaj is a typical devotee of Lord, and as such he is anxious to know the complete significance of the creation of the Lord. He wants to know the inner and outer space. It is quite fitting for the real researcher of knowledge to know all about this. Those who are of opinion that the devotees are satisfied with mere sentiments can find in the inquiries of Maharaj Parikshit good lessons as to how inquisitive a pure devotee is to know things in their true perfection. So that's a devotee. He knows everything. He's not just a sentimental devotee. Just because he is a simple devotee doesn't mean that he has no knowledge of the philosophy. A devotee should be expert in all the philosophy. And the answer question about the devotees and the Varnashram, they are answered in the 7th canto and the 11th canto. 7th canto, Narad Muni in the end, after describing the pastime of Parikshit, Narsimhadev, he describes Varnashram system. 7th canto, 11th to 15th chapters, 4 chapters, 5 chapters describe Varnashram. And this activities of devotees, they are described in 11th canto. So Prabhupada continues. Maharaj Parikshit is not satisfied only with material knowledge. He is inquisitive about the character and activities of great souls. The glories of the Lord and the glories of his devotees combined together comprise the complete knowledge. And Prabhupada writes, Yashodamai could see the entire universe in the mouth of Krishna. By the grace of the Lord, devotees can also see everything in the universe within the mouth of the Lord. That's how the great devotees are. Okay, so then Prabhupada writes something about the Varnashram system also. Then, 17th verse, he asks about various yugas, duration, yuga dharma, and activities of yuga avatars. Yugani yugamanam cha dharmo yascha yuge yuge avataranucharitam yada ashcharyatamam hare.
Please explain all the different ages in the duration of the creation and also the duration of such ages. Also tell me about the different activities of the different incarnations of the Lord in different ages.
So he's asking about the yuga, the duration. That is answered in the 3rd canto again, in the 11th chapter. And then yuga dharma and activities of yuga avatars, they are answered in 11th canto. And in that, this section, the famous Krishna Vardhan, Tisha Krishnam and all that verses, they come. Yuga avatars. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, Maharaj Parikshit was not carried by the sentiments of common man to accept incarnations very cheaply. Instead, he wished to accept the incarnation by the symptoms mentioned in the Vedic scriptures. So that is how a devotee should be very, very expert in seeing, oh, this person is claiming himself to be an avatar. Is he actually an avatar? Because that's what when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Gopinath Acharya tells him that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Yuga avatar. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, Lord is Triyogi. You know, how can I accept that Lord appears in Kali Yuga? Triyuga Sattvam. So Lord appears in 3 yugas only. So Prabhupada, in that purport, Prabhupada praises Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Says, this is how you should argue. If anybody tells that he is God, you should not accept anyone as God. Where is he mentioned in scriptures? So that's how one should not be sentimental in accepting anyone. Chakravarti Thakur writes, this question includes not only yuga avatars, but also the type of bhakti that they institute. Various yuga avatars, they have different types. They propagate different type of bhakti. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he propagated Sankirtan Yajna. Then 18th verse describes about Sadharan Dharma, Vishesh Dharma and Apad Dharma. It continues. Nrinam sadharano dharmaha savisheshascha yadrishaha shreninam rajarshinam cha dharma krichreshu jivatam.
Please also explain what may generally be the common religious affiliation of human society, as well as their specific occupational duties in religion, the classification of the social order, as well as the administrative royal order, and the religious principles for one who may be in distress.
So first of all, tell me about the Sadharan Dharma, general Dharma. What is the Dharma of everyone? And Vishesh Dharma. What is Dharma according to the birth? And then please tell me about the dharma of Shreninam Rajarshinam, Vaishya and Kshatriyas. And the dharma, when it is impossible to perform regular occupation, that is apad dharma. Dharma krichreshu jivatam. In difficult times, what dharma one should perform? So Prabhupada, whenever he gets chance, he makes it very simple. What is sadharan dharma for everyone? Kya bolenge Prabhupada? Bhakti. That is the sadharan dharma for everyone. That is the general dharma. That is devotional service. The common religion of all classes of human beings is devotional service. Even animals may be included. And the best example is, Prabhupada gives example of Bajrang Ji. Prabhupada includes Hanumanji also. And Vishesh Dharma, dharma according to birth. Even these persons become devotees. Prabhupada quotes this, Kirat, Hunandra, Pulinda, Pulkasha. So सब में धर्म वही है, भक्ति. There is a first canto version, धर्मस्य हि आपवर्गस्य. Last time also we discussed, I think. Dharma for different people are different, and apavarga is different. Dharma for karmi is yajna. He does yajna, sacrifices. Why? What is his apavarga? What does he want? Swarga. He wants heaven. Dharma for jnani is tapasa, brahmacharyena, shamena cha, damena cha. What is the apavarga? What is liberation for him? Mukti ultimately. Brahman mukti. What is dharma for a yogi? Ashtanga yogi? Yam, dharma, practice. Yam, niyam, asan, and ashtanga and siddhi is the liberation. What is dharma of a devotee? Shravanam kirtanam, navvidha bhakti. And the apavarga is prema. So that's how the bhakti, the dharma for a devotee is Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, and for all living entities, dharma is, ultimate dharma is devotional service only. And then Prabhupada writes, what is apad dharma? What is the dharma in emergency situation when it is difficult to act according to Varna? People following the principles of devotional service to the Lord can never be put into difficulty. And thus, there cannot be any question of apad dharma. Devotees can never be in distress. It will never be possible. Even, one devotee told Prabhupada, he was Prabhupada was sending this devotee to some other country. And he said, Prabhupada, they all eat meat. We will not get anything to eat. Prabhupada said, eat meat but preach. Because Prabhupada knew that it is not possible that you will not get grains. At least in current times, you will find grains everywhere. So, especially for a devotee, Lord has given so much assurance. Ananya Chintayanto Man. Prabhupada can say, because he has personally done it. He came with 40 rupees. He didn't know whether he will survive or not. Sumati Moraji was telling, Swamiji, don't go, you will die. You will not get anything. Still, Prabhupada came with 40 rupees. He had that conviction. And for 1 year, he didn't get any success. And Bhagavad Prabhu, one of the Prabhupada disciples, he recalls that, sometimes Prabhupada would be really, depressed, upset, because he was not getting any success. In that situation, many times he would go to Boston Harbor and he would ask the timings when the next ship is going back to India. Every time he would come. So one time this customs man said, Swamiji, you are coming every time, but when are you going? You don't go. So that's how Prabhupada was just trying to handle that in a distress situation. But he had faith in the Lord. Faith in the words of his Guru that it will happen for sure. So Prabhupada can say that devotees will never be put into difficulty. What all difficulties he had gone through. One night this David, he becomes crazy and Prabhupada is on the roads. Don't know where to go now. Kidhar jaye. So that's how Prabhupada has gone through all this. But still Krishna provides. Krishna protects his devotees. Okay, so in 19th verse, he asks about the elements, worships of Purusha avatars, and Yoga Mishra Bhakti. So that's what he asks in the 19th verse. Tattvanam parisankhyanam lakshanam hetu lakshanam
Lakshanam Jetu Lakshanam
Purushartha
Purushadhana Vedhi
adhyatmikasya cha.
Yogashat Adhyatmikasya.
Kindly explain all about the elementary principles of faith. There are such elementary principles, their causes, their development, and also the process of devotional service and the
So Tattvanam Parisankhyanam. So this is explained in detail in 3rd canto, Sankhya, and 11th canto. So in 2 places, Sankhya is described. Tattvanam Parisankhyanam. Tattvanam Parisankhyanam and Lakshanam. Please describe the principal qualities of these elements. They are all described in the 27th chapter. 26th chapter in great detail, 3rd canto. The qualities of each and every element is described. About earth, water, fire, air, ether, sound, form, touch, everything is described there. And Purusha Aradhana Vidhi. Please describe the rules for worshipping the Purusha avatars. And Yogasya Adhyatmikasya cha. Please describe Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti. That is again described in the 3rd canto, 27th chapter in great detail. And 28th chapter. So all these chapters they describe Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Okay, then he continues in 20th verse. There he asks about the destruction of the body and the destination which the yogi achieves, and the conclusion of all the Vedic scriptures. So what is the conclusion of all the Vedic scriptures? Yoga Ishwarasya Gati Linga Bhangastu Yoginam Vedopaveda Dharmana
Vedasopeda Bharnam
Yoga
Puranayoho. What are the opulences of the great mystics, and what is their ultimate relationship? How does the perfect mystic become detached from the subtle astral body? What is the basic knowledge of Vedic literature, including the branches of history and the supplementary Puranas? Hare Krishna.
Yogeshwara Aishwarya Gatihi. So he is asking about the position of the power achieved by great devotees or mystic yogis. So what is the destination which these mystic yogis achieve? And Linga Bhanga. How do they destroy their subtle body? How do they merge in Brahman? Please tell me about that. And also tell me about Veda, Upaveda, Itihas, Puran. What is the conclusion of all this? All these things. So this is answered in 12th canto. Suta Goswami describes in 12th canto all the various literatures, Veda, Upaveda, and everything. And in the end, he says that conclusion of all this is Bhagavatam. Sarva Vedanta Saram hi Srimad Bhagavatam ishyate tadrasamrit triptasya nanyatra syat gati kvachat. That's the conclusion, last chapter of the 12th canto. In that he says, Nimnaganam yatha Ganga Devanam Achyuto yatha Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu Purananam idam tat. So that is the ultimate conclusion. Then he continues. In 21st verse, he describes about the deliverance from the samsara, how one gets delivered. And also he asks about what are the favorable and unfavorable activities for devotional service. Samplavas sarva bhutanam विक्रमा प्रतिसंक्रमः ईष्टापूर्तस्य काम्यानां त्रैवर्गस्य च यो विधिः.
Please explain unto me how the living beings are generated, how they are maintained, and how they are annihilated. Tell me also of the advantages and disadvantages of discharging devotional service unto the Lord. What are the Vedic rituals and injunctions of the supplementary Vedic rites? And what are the procedures of religion, economic development, and satisfaction?
So, 2-3 questions he is asking in this verse. Samplava sarva bhutanam. Samplava means deliverance. How all the living entities, they will get delivered. And Vikrama Pratisankramaha. What is favorable and what is unfavorable? Vikramaha Pratisankramaha for Bhakti. And please tell me the Vidhi, the rules for Ishtapurtasya Kamyanam. Ishtapurtasya means all the various Vedic rituals. They are smarta rituals. What are the various rules for doing all these things? Because they are for three varga. What are three varga? Dharma, Artha, Kama. So all these Vedic rituals, they are for Dharma, Artha, Kama. Please tell me the rules for all these things. So that's how he's asking so many questions. So Prabhupada writes, one who is firmly situated in devotional service can very easily execute the function of conditional life. Living the conditional life is just like plying a boat in the middle of an ocean. One is completely at the mercy of the ocean. Even at and at every moment there is a chance of being drowned. So basically, Prabhupada is saying that this human body is a suitably made boat to cross this ocean of material existence. Which verse says this? Anyone knows this verse? The glories of human body. Any verse. Human form is very rare. Nirdehamadyam sulabham sudurlabham. Very famous verse. Plavam sukalpam. It is a very suitably made boat to cross the ocean of material existence. And then in every boat you need a captain. Who is the captain on this boat? Spiritual. Guru Karna Dharam. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that he is actually Karnadhar. Karnadhar means जो कान पकड़ के लेके जाता है, Karnadhar. And Mayanukulena Nabhasvateritam. And in this ocean, there are favorable winds of scriptures. So we should read the scriptures so that our boat can go in the right direction. Puman bhavabdhim natarensa atmaha. Anyone who doesn't take advantage of this human body, he is a killer of the soul. So then Prabhupada writes about do's and don'ts in devotional service. Favorable and unfavorable. What are the do's in devotional service? NY verse. What are the favorable things for devotional service? Third verse. Saha Nishchaya Dhairya. What is the meaning of Tat Karma Pravartan? वो दो मीनिंग तो उसका था, नियम आग्रह वाला था, following the regulative principles, and sato vritti is following the previous acharyas. And what is unfavorable? Atyahar, prayas, prajalpa, niyamagraha, janasangascha, laulyamsha. So Prabhupada writes, one should also not accumulate money to become puffed up in the material world. One should earn his livelihood easily and honestly. Prabhupada, it is better to become a coolie for an honest livelihood than to become a great man in society by hook and crook. Another place Prabhupada writes, sincere sweeper in the street is better than charlatan. Yeah, exact word. Very interesting line Prabhupada writes. Sincere sweeper in the street is better than charlatan meditator. दिखावा करने वाले से अच्छा है एक सिंपल झाड़ू लगाने वाला है, sweeper. थर्ड चैप्टर भगवद गीता प्रभुपाद राइट्स, वो उसमें है ना, वो मिथ्याचार उच्यते, उसमें प्रभुपाद राइट्स, a sincere sweeper in the street is far better than the charlatan meditator who meditates only for the sake of making a living. They are also writing similar. It is better to become a coolie than to become a great man. There is no harm if one becomes the richest man by honest dealings, but one should not sacrifice the honest means of livelihood simply to accumulate wealth. Such an endeavor is harmful to devotional service. Then Prabhupada writes about favorable conditions. Every devotee should be very enthusiastic, not only in performing daily rituals, but in trying to preach the occult. If he is not superficially successful in such attempt, he should not be deterred. So very, very important. Prabhupada is very precisely using the, if he is not superficially successful. हो सकता है ना, so if he is not successful, superficially successful. Because any endeavor in Krishna consciousness is success. It is never lost. But many times we judge our success based on the material results. So one should not be deterred. And at one place, Prabhupada writes, it doesn't mean that you don't practically judge the situation. If you are preaching for 3 years and nobody is becoming a devotee, just change your location, go somewhere else and preach. It is not that nahi Bhagwan ki इच्छा होगी तो इधर भी devotee बनेंगे. Prabhupada was very, very practical. I would say depend on the Lord, but if you are seeing that there is no result coming, just change your location. Okay. And then in the next verse, he describes about the various types of pralaya, reappearance of the jivas after the pralaya, and various types of pashandis who are created. And he asks about the nitya siddhas. Yovanushayinam sargaha pashandasya cha sambhavaha atmano bandha mokshaucha vyavasthanam swarupataha.
In the body of the Lord, living beings, or the impediments.
Okay. Yah va anushayinam sargaha. Please describe the appearance of the jivas at the time of creation. Sarga. How do they appear? Please tell me about the pashandis also, impostors. Atmano bandha mokshaucha. Please describe how a living entity gets bandhan and moksha. So how? Describe the bondage and liberation for conditioned souls. And Vyavasthanam Swarupataha. And what is the condition of Swarupataha? Those who are eternally liberated. सबके बारे में बताइए. Tell me about the liberated beings. Tell me about the conditioned souls. What happens to them? So the Pashandis are described in the 3rd canto, where creation of demons by Brahmaji. That time it comes. Then the dynasties of irreligion is also described in the 20th chapter by Maitreya Muni. Then in the 4th canto, when Indra became a Pashandi, he took the form of a sannyasi, Kapalik sannyasi, and he stole the horse. There also it is described about these Pashandis. And then in the 5th canto, it came where somebody started imitating Rishabdev, and that was the beginning of Jainism. So that is also imitation. Then about the Nitya Siddhas, the story of Uddhava is described in the 3rd canto. How when Vidura meets Maitreya, Vidura meets Uddhavji. So Uddhav is thinking about the Lord and all that is described. And then 10th canto, Brajvasis, they are the examples of Nitya Siddhas. So that is how all these questions will be answered. Then next verse. In this 23rd verse, he is asking about the pastimes the Lord performs using his Yoga Maya and how he disappears from this world. So this question is answered in Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Chatushloki Bhagavatam is the answer to this question. How Lord performs his Leela using Yoga Maya and how he disappears. Yathatmatantro Bhagavan Vikridatyatmamaya Visrajyava Yathamaya Udaste Sakshivad Vibhu.
The independent personality of Godhead enjoys his pastimes by his internal potency, and at the time of annihilation gives them up to the external potency, and he remains a witness to it all.
Yatha Atma Tantra Bhagavan. So describe how Atma Tantra, supremely independent Lord, Vikridati, how he performs his pastimes. Using his Atma Maya, using his internal potency, Yoga Maya, and Srijati Va Yatha Maya, and how he destroys this universe using his Mahamaya, external Maya, external energy, how he does that. But although he is using his internal potency and creating something and destroying, how he remains indifferent. उदासीन वत आसीनम. उदास्ते, उदासीन कैसे रहते हैं? He's just sakshivat. He's just a witness. This is answered I think in the 3rd canto, where one place Lord says that I am doing the great austerity by the power of austerities I can create this material universe. So why Lord has to perform austerity to create this material universe? What austerity Lord is performing? The austerity which Lord performs is austerity of detachment. Udasin. If somebody is creating a big mansion, an empire, and the next day Lord is todna isko, you have to destroy it and again create. So it requires lots of detachment. That is the austerity which the Lord is doing. Udasinavat. So all these things he is asking. So answer to this is the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. The 4 verses, 2.9.33, 34, 35, 36. Yes, we are done. Okay, now after this, he asks the 24th verse. In this, he says, जो भी मैंने पूछा है वो बताइए, जो नहीं पूछा है वो भी बताइए. सर्वमेतच्च भगवान पृच्छतो मे अनुपूर्वशः तत्त्वतो अर्हस्य उदाहर्तुं प्रपन्नाय महामुने.
O great sage, representative of the Lord, kindly satisfy my inquisitiveness in all that I have inquired from you, and all that I may not have inquired from you, from the very beginning of my questionings. Since I am the soul surrendered unto you, please impart full knowledge in this connection.
Sarvametaccha, whatever I have asked, pritchato me anupurvashaha. इधर उधर से जो भी पूछा है, आप कृपया करके सब कुछ बताइए. You tell me everything. सर्वतो में तत्वतो अर्हसि उदाहरितम. Please truthfully declare it. And cha sarvam etat cha. Cha means whatever I have not asked, that also you tell me. Because I am a prapannaya, I am a surrendered soul unto you. So therefore, please describe everything unto me. So don't think I have not asked this question, so you'll not tell me. No, please tell me everything. So Prabhupada writes, spiritual master is always prepared to impart knowledge to the disciple, and specifically when the disciple is very inquisitive. Inquisitiveness on the part of disciple is greatly necessary for the progressive disciple. Maharaj Parikshit is a typical disciple because he's perfectly inquisitive. He's a typical disciple who keeps asking questions, not thinking, he doesn't think, ye to mere ko aata hai. I know this answer. But he keeps asking to clarify all the doubts and to get newer and newer aspects of every answer. So that's how it is. So hearing this, Shukdev Goswami may say, well, previously you have understood all this from all the other sages directly. Why are you asking me again? You have heard all this. So then in the 25th verse he says, among all the sages, you are the most authoritative. Atra pramanam hi bhavan
अत्र प्रमाणं हित्वा परमेष्ठितात् प्रभु
Sham Purvajaikratam.
उपरे च अनुतिष्ठनं पूर्वजो कृतं. Oh great sage, you are as good as
Okay, so he says, you are as good as Brahma. Among all the sages, Atra, among all the sages, you are the Pramanam. You are the authority. Like Atma Bhu Parameshthi Yatha. Parameshthi means Brahma. So among all the sages, you are the supreme authority. While Apare Purvesham, while the other sages, the previous sages, they perform actions in accordance to what was done by previous knowers. So you are the supreme. Other, they follow whatever they have seen. You are like Brahma. You know things in detail. So therefore, please tell me. Others, they follow customs. They sometimes make philosophical speculations. So you don't make philosophical speculations. You have realized knowledge. So after hearing all this, Shukdev Goswami से इतना सारा क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया है. It may take some days to answer. Please arrange some food for you. So Parikshit Maharaj says, next verse. Name asava parayanti
नामय सवा परायन्ते
anashanadami pibato achyuta piyusham
युवति अच्युत पीयूषं
tadvakyati vinasritam.
यद्भक्त्यो विधिविनिश्चितम्. O Lord and Brahmana, because of my drinking the nectar of the message of infallible personality of Godhead, which is flowing down from the ocean of your speeches, I do not feel any sort of exhaustion due to my feeling. Fasting. Hare Krishna.
Name asava parayanti, because I am fasting, parayan anashanadami, I am not eating anything. Don't think that I am exhausted. I am drinking achyuta piyusham. I am drinking the nectar of Harikatha. The same thing he says in the 10th canto. With the second canto hua hai. 10th canto he speaks the same thing. Naishati dussahak shunmam tyaktodam apibadate pibantam tvanmukham bhoja chutam harikatamritam. I am not disturbed by hunger and thirst because I am drinking Harikatha from your mouth. So therefore you please keep speaking. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking these questions and with full faith. So he has full faith in the words of Guru and he is surrendering unto Guru. So therefore, Shukadeva Goswami becomes very pleased with these inquiries in the 27th verse. And Shukadeva Goswami says, yes, somebody can read the translation. Sukadeva Goswami.
Sukadeva Goswami said, thus Sukadeva Goswami being invited with Maharaj Parikshit to speak on the topics of the Lord Sri Krishna with the devotees was very much pleased.
So therefore he was pleased, and then in response he spoke Srimad Bhagvatam. Praha Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam Brahma Kalpa Upagate.
Brahma Kalpa Upagate. He began to reply.
So this Shukadeva Goswami Praha Bhagavatam Nama. In response to this, all these inquiries, he spoke scripture called Bhagavatam, which is Brahma Samhitam. It is the essence of all the Vedas. And Brahmane Bhagavata Proktam. It was spoken by the Supreme Lord in the beginning to Brahma. Brahma Kalpa. So Brahma Kalpa is the first Kalpa. Brahma Kalpa Upagate. So that is the Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada writes about that. Supreme Lord himself spoke this to Brahmaji. Srimad Bhagavatam is a supplementary Vedic literature. Nigam Kalptaror Galitam Phalam. And then Shukadeva Goswami gets ready to answer. Yad yad parikshit rishabha Pandunam anuprichati
Pandunam
Purvena
Manuchati
tatsarvam
Anupurvena
Pachakrame.
Chakrame.
Prepared himself. King Parikshit had inquired from him. Parikshit was the best in the dynasty of the Pandavas, and thus he was able to ask the right questions to the right person.
So that's how Shukadeva Goswami, he began to explain Akyatum Upachakrame, according to the topics. Whatever Parikshit had asked, Anupurvyena, whatever topics he had asked, Yadyat Parikshita, jo bhi puche hain, everything he was ready to reply, because Parikshit was Pandunam Rishabhaha, he was the best among the Pandavas. So that's how Shukadeva Goswami will start answering from the next chapter. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
5 minutes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji,